Keep playing.
Welcome back to another episode of Eagles Weekly. Here are your hosts, Brett, Haas, Mac, and Jack. How we feeling, fellas?
Welcome back to Eagles Weekly, episode 36. I'm one of your hosts, Brett Ryder, joined today by Matt Hutchinson and Jack Cyberlick. How you doing, guys?
Not great.
Different tone than the last pod, for sure. Even though that one was also after a loss, but this one was a tough one.
It was a potentially season-changing loss, potentially future program-changing loss. Depends on what they do after this, but this could be a turning point in a bad way for this program and for the season. So, again, hopefully we get our crap together, but we'll dive into it because we got a lot to say. I know I have a lot to say, but
it's a great time for a bye.
Yeah. Thank God we have this week off.
That's a good way to put it, too. Not a, season-ending loss or a season-crushing loss, but definitely a season-changing loss. We've talked long and ad nauseum about next level and what it would take to win 8 games. Why does it seem like 8 games is all of a sudden just like
well, it seems possible now.
Why? Yeah, but why is it this like crazy out of reach thing? Like 8, like let me just be honest. 8 wins is not. That's not like. It's not like a crazy season.
Yeah, Syracuse has had 2 10-game seasons in the past 4 years. We haven't even, or past 6 years, we haven't even touched 8.
Who has 2 10-win seasons?
Syracuse. They won 10 last year. They won 10 in 2018 or whatever.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
We even touched 8.
All right, I gotta say a few things, Brett. So I have a few potentially positive, hopeful things, and I'm not even going to get to that until the very end of this podcast. Please. I'm honestly going to save that. I want to get into the negative crap first. I just got to get this off the chest. I know this isn't like you just said. This isn't the season-ending loss, but it's got potential for that. If they don't get their act together, thank God there's 2 weeks here. Thank God there's time to hopefully get their act together before Cal comes in here in 2 weeks. But there's a chance this could be season-ending, loss if they don't, change everything that we saw Saturday night. And then also this could be a program almost ending type of loss if you don't get your act together. I think for not to totally overreact here, but I think fans right now are worried about not just this season, but they're worried about the future of this program. I totally went into this season giving the full context of how important this season is to get to potentially 7-8 wins is because everything's on the line. We're trying to get the city of Boston to invite BC football as their 5th team. We're not even close to that. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. And then as far as conference realignment, the ACC is having a down year. We saw that this weekend. This conference might not even be here. Is BC going to fall behind? Because if we're sitting here losing to teams like Stanford, maybe we deserve to be left behind because honestly, that's not a Power 4 football team. You don't lose those type of games. You thought Bill O'Brien coming in here, okay, we're not going to have those type of games anymore. You're not going to have the Kansas games. You're not going to have the Wake Forest games. But we had one this week 3, season 2, Bill O'Brien. Laid an egg on national television, BC After Dark. Thank God it was After Dark. Hopefully not too many people were watching. But this is where we're at. And I think, again, for the full context, and I think BC fans, we're smart fans, we understand everything was at stake. It's going to get more at stake as we go into later in year 2 of Bill O'Brien, year 3, year 4. It's if this program doesn't take a massive leap forward, they are going to get left behind. and this is where we're at. And I think, maybe it's an overreaction, but to be honest, I think for BC fans, it's just so frustrating that we still have to deal with this. Like, that it's a kind of a down to earth, humbling thing, which we didn't need. It's that we're still BC. We still lose these type of games, and it's embarrassing. And this is just how people view BC. And it's like, we can't blame them anymore. It's like, we continue to do this. So I don't know. That's where just want to talk about that as a fan, because that's from the fan perspective. I fully grasp that and understand that, because it's just super frustrating.
Pat Crab Burner makes a good point. It puts a smile on my face when I need it the most, right? Like losing Stanford and beating ND would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. It also wouldn't feel super fulfilling anymore. Like if we go out and we talked about all offseason how we wanted to pick off one of the college football teams. We wanted to upset at least one of them this year. And now it's kind of like, it almost feels like the win's like out of your sails. It's like if you win one of those games, it's like a consolation prize. Like it really wouldn't feel that good. I mean, it's always a good day to beat Notre Dame, but it just doesn't like this. We were up 17-6 inside the red zone, and we not only didn't score there, but we scored 3 points the rest of the game after scoring 17 straight. And we just, I don't know. I'm like trying to think of like a easier, softer way other than like they blew it big time. And in the moment, I'm like sitting on the couch and it's like, I think it was like 1 a.m. here. And I'm like, these guys are playing football at 1 a.m. Like that's got to be tough. It's got to be hard. I don't want to like make excuses and, but like that's got to be hard. But it just, I mean, you should have scored a lot more points at an appropriate time of the night. That way, once you got to the 1:30 in the morning Eastern time, out there, you were up comfortably enough to where it didn't matter anymore, because there was a point where they were scoring at will and moving the ball at will. And, Reed Harris could not be stopped. There was times where, it honestly looked like a FBS receiver going against like FCS secondary, like at best. And they were an absolute mess. Like Stanford, it's not like Stanford like truly showed up and showed out. Like all they really did was just capitalize off our mistakes. And we have AJ here. I just saw Michigan State was getting to USC on Thursday to adapt to the team check. All right, Mac, I want you to go on this. We have a source, whatever. We were talking to somebody who had alluded to the fact that BC wanted to fly out on Thursday to acclimate themselves to the time difference change, and the school basically shut it down and had them fly out on Friday. That's an unserious move there. And like, come on, like this is the first time really in program history. Like, I don't even think back in 2003 when we played in this Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl out there, I don't even think that kickoff was 10:30 at night. So this is, I'm guessing, probably the latest kickoff time in program history.
So,
and
Brett,
you don't do anything to adjust to it?
Going into the season, this was a big thing because obviously we had to go to Michigan State and then go all the way to Stanford. So the school knew about this. Coach Bill O'Brien knew about this. Sources that told us said, "Hey, Bill wants to go out Thursday." They didn't want to go. The school wasn't letting them go out Thursday. We actually even asked Bill about this last week, and Bill said, "No, can't do it. hands are tied. You know, and even made a comment towards, well, this is BC. There wasn't money. You know, it costs money to charter over there a day early. It's not a serious program, and this isn't just Bill O'Brien. This goes all the way to the top. You know, I don't know if this is, again, I've talked a lot of times about the Leahy administration and ability to get them to that next level. But from top to bottom, there's just not serious. You know, the players on the field Saturday night weren't serious. The coaches weren't serious. They just weren't good enough. Bill, talked about that post game, and the school. To be honest, they're not treating this program seriously to the level where it needs to be a serious program. So again, that's just a small example. I don't even think that's not an excuse. They still should have won that game, even if they went out there Saturday at 7 p.m. and got there right before kickoff. They still should have won this game. But it's an example of the big full context I keep talking about. We're not in any level of this thing, from administration all the way down to the water boy, a serious program. And I think there's just so many. This is a reflection. Saturday was a reflection of that. There's so many things that they need to do, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, whether that's the administration, whether that's AD Blake James. They really gotta look in the mirror for 2 weeks and get their stuff together, because it's just what Power 4 school's doing this? And right now. I know you're dealing with college kids. I think Bill O'Brien, you're seeing this. This is a massive adjustment. I know he coached at Penn State, but it's been a long time. This isn't the NFL. Like, the travel's not a normal thing. And I think he just needs to do better. He needs to get these guys ready. And this is coaching. Like, getting guys prepared and focused is on the coaches. So everyone has to step up here.
I want to know how hard practice was this week too, at the fact that there was three starters, three secondary starters that went down right before the week started. Like, that doesn't, that's not an excuse to me either. Because when I was going into this game, the mindset was like, oh yeah, like that sucks that they're, they were just releasing a laundry list of people that weren't suiting up for this week. The whole notion was it's just Stanford, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. And then they go and lose that game. And I still don't, I'm still not willing to give them, benefit of the doubt, so to speak, that, oh, you guys had three starters down defensively and whatever the case may be. Like, that's not good enough. Like, that's not an excuse for me. And to kind of dissect into it, it's like there was three costly turnovers, two of them in a row that just directly led to 14 points, like pretty instantaneously. Like Dwayne Alex fumble. Like, Dwayne Alex should not, and I'm sorry, maybe he's a nice kid, I think he's a 6-year guy, so he definitely already has his degree. He's probably about to be a double eagle, so he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. This is not your thing. Like, he should not snap a ball or touch the field for the rest of the season. But, Mac, I know you had said that they're all sucked snapping the ball.
We have an O-line problem. There's a serious problem at center. They went with Krauntz at a certain point in the game. He was having issues snapping the ball. Matheson, who hasn't even snapped the ball at center, the transfer that they brought in, he might be the worst at snapping the ball. We saw that all summer. So, like, the center's an issue going forward. Jude Bowery, he's had issues in his past with injury, and now he went down. So if he doesn't come back, we're going to have serious issues there. But I think you hit the nail on the head, though, Brett. It's like turnovers was the name of the game. You're going to go up potentially 24-6. The game's over. And you turn the ball over. Dylan Lonergan, I can't put that on him. He's got nine touchdowns. That was his first interception. He's a young kid. That stuff's going to happen. But still, it was a major point in the game. That happens. The center, fumbling the football, bad snap. You can't have that. And also on the opposite side, the defense. We went into the season with the big talking point, leading the ACC in turnovers, leading the ACC in interceptions. no turnovers against Michigan State, no turnovers, creating turnovers against Stanford. These aren't great teams. How are we going to be able to create turnovers against Clemson and Notre Dame? So you're just looking at all of these different things, and you're just, man, was I wrong? Like, to be honest, like going into the season, I think for the biggest thing, and I know BC Media was very similar on this, but going into the season was how great the secondary was, how great the safeties were. I haven't seen a good tackle from the safeties all year. Like this is like, I don't know, this is the most wrong I've been on a group ever. I thought that was maybe the best and the most deep group that BC had, and they had not come to play yet this season. So it's a major
let
concern.
Me tell you, friend of the show, AJ Black, nicely pointed out who coaches the safeties, and it's really no shock there. Our special teams guru happens to be the safeties coach as well, with KP Price, people were talking about him having this NFL body. He's going to be a day 2 draft pick.
Well, the tackling has been consistent.
Where is he
on both
been?
of those ends?
Like, where's the honestly, dude, like, where's the milk carton? Matt Thurin, there it is. Where's the milk carton for a KP Price? Because I haven't seen him make I haven't seen him make an impact once. Maybe he has, and I'll stand corrected, but I have not seen him make an impact. And he's supposed to be the leader of not only the secondary, but of that defense. And they're not, like you said, they're not creating turnovers. They're not tackling soundly. They're not getting any push up front defensively. Like the offensive line, the opposing team's offensive line are always in the positive. They're always moving forward. There's no negative movement from the offensive line when BC's on defense. That's the biggest problem too. They're getting zero push.
There's no confidence. 4th and 1. There's no confidence that you're going to get that. That's inexcusable. And you saw that on the 4th and 1 play. Turbo felt like he had to make this ridiculous play, rocketed the ball into the end zone. I mean, okay, that play, Brett, can we just say, like, that was a perfect example. I'm actually writing a column on this right now. Perfect example of how it is to be a BC fan. Like, you're going into that 4th and goal play at the 1 yard line, and I'm right there with Bill O'Brien, agreeing with this decision, thinking, hey, the worst thing that can happen is they stuff you and they have to go 99 yards. Well, guess what? We somehow find something worse than that. That's BC football. It's like the fumble, rocket the ball, they get a touchback, and they ended up driving from the 20-yard line and scoring a touchdown 3 plays later. I mean, that was basically a pick 6. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. We've seen it all at this point when it comes to these just the lack of execution and finding different excruciating, miserable ways, embarrassing ways to lose.
All right. First of all, F this. We can come back to that, to talking overall Stanford, games. This is what I want to do right now, though. All right. Jack has seen this. Mac, you have not. Yeah, there's something wrong with me. I'm willing to admit that. Now, we're not going to go through all these because we're just not.
Too painful.
Right? Like,
it's too painful. Yeah.
I want to know, and we don't have to, it doesn't, where Stanford 2025, like if we were to create of all these teams, I didn't count them. There's a lot of teams on there. And that's only till fucking 2014. That's only like what, 12 seasons of football, 11 seasons of football or something. It's a lot of that's a lot of games on there. But anyways, would you put that Stanford 2025 loss in like a top 5 of these losses? I would consider it.
I can't really speak on anything pre-Kansas, but from Kansas down,
can we all agree that the Kansas game is probably number 1 then?
For me, Wake Forest 3-0.
Jack, would you say from 2019 on down, would you say that the Kansas loss is probably like the stupidest loss?
That feels the most similar, Brett. If that's what you're asking, that feels very similar. You know?
Yeah, honestly, thinking about the Kansas. That was my freshman year, and that was like what the third game of the season.
Yeah, it was like
and we
fourth,
got
right?
crushed. It felt like we were never in the game. We lost 48-24. I don't know. Like
You gotta understand
I
like how much they
I-
sucked too.
yeah, I can't remember though what the preseason hopes were for that team, because coming into this game, coming off of Michigan State, you felt like there was somewhat of a
insane. This
path
list is
to the
insane.
team.
It's
But
hilarious, right?
I don't know. Like the UConn loss was in the midst of a 3-9 season. It's like that sucked. It was so bad, but
Yeah,
that was a lost season.
The NIU one was like,
then I used a huge what the fuck loss, super annoying.
Yeah.
But then like the Florida State and the Clemson losses, they're all like near upsets. Like they're games
those are underlined. Check the
Oh man,
they do meet a certain criteria.
I don't know why this is.
The FSU one for me was super fucking annoying because they had like a program record like 15 penalties, and they lost the game on a face mask penalty. Like that's why.
Yeah,
that's why I put that one on the list. The Pitt one, when Pitt was like super ass and they like benched Dracovic and had their backup who was also ass and they beat us. Like that's why that one's on the list. The UVA game.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, though, Brett, is with this game, a lot of these games in Stanford, is that these were just so utterly frustrating, like losses. Like especially I look at those Clemson games when we should have won those games. Like the difference with the Stanford one is that it's just like such a momentum killer. You know, like I believe one of my takes going to the season was that I thought Bill O'Brien wasn't going to have a WTF loss this year, and like we're only week 3, and there it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for that reason, it's like, man, like we're right back in this column, like it's normal. And the reason I was just laughing like my ass off a second ago is that I'm looking at this list, Brett. Obviously, there's so many games on this list, but this is only till 2014. Like, you have to go back 5 years before even 2014 when we won 8 games. Like, that's how long this misery goes for. So, like, this is so great because it just gives context to everything I'm saying. It's like it's been so long that we've been relevant. It's been so long since we've had the high standard and met it, and like that's our reality. That it's like I think that's why people go and look at Bill O'Brien when he says we're going out Thursday. The school just says, "What are you talking about? We're not a serious program. We don't do that." Like this is like where it comes from. You know what I mean?
I got this one from AJ. AJ, this is not showing your age. This is just showing your your wiseness. I remember that too. Your wisdom. That's what I was thinking of. That was the AJ will if you could put the kicker in. There was Nate Freeze, right? I think it was Nate Freeze. And then this one, so Wake Forest, it was funny. I've actually rewatched some of the 3-0 game just out of like
sicko.
I was like feeling frisky. I thought it'd be kind of funny. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get some content out of this and whatever. But what the fuck are you going to talk about? There was like that game was so bad, dude. That game was so bad it shouldn't.
It was poetic, though. It was poetic how horrible.
Yeah, Nate Freeze. That's what I thought. Yeah, and when Nate Freeze ended up being perfect in 2013. I mean, we can. Maryland 2007. I mean, it's fucking painful, man. It really is. But for this list, for this purpose, it's like if you look too, it's like 2014, 2015, 2016. 2017 was the one reprieve, but 2017 was the it's all going to come together and it's going to be beautiful. Whatever.
Oh,
so like that was our 1 year. That was the 1 year where there wasn't.
While we're doing this, shout out to Steve Adazio on the call Saturday night, man.
Okay.
That's what we should have known. We were cursed. We should have known.
Lonergan couldn't get Lonergan's name right.
What the fuck was that?
But then also, doesn't this put some perspective? Now that you're talking about the 3-0 game, Brett, the fact that Adazio was critiquing the clock management of Bill O'Brien kind of puts it all in perspective. You know what I mean? Saturday night.
I love that, AJ. Man. So true. No, yeah.
And he did pretty good, by the way, on the call. I thought,
he did great. He did great. I didn't know that he was a color guy. Now I saw in some of the preseason stuff he had come around.
Shout out to him.
He was doing some good things. I actually DM'd AJ. I think AJ was deep in his work that night, but I was just like, basically, I said like I effing hate Steve Adazio still. I don't like him. And the reason why I don't like him is because when he left, he never thanked us. He never thanked the fans for his time. He just left. I don't like that. You got fired, but you can thank us for your support and everything. Like, be a homie. But he's not. Maybe he's a little bit softer in his old age, but I thought he did great. Outside of not being able to pronounce Lonergan. And like, I almost blame the play-by-play guy or like maybe one of the producers. Like, how do the producers never just go in his ear and be like, it's Lonergan, you know? I mean, maybe Steve Adazio just like still gives like dickhead football coach. So like they were too afraid to like correct him. You know what I mean? Like
it was so on brand though. It was just man.
And then when he was doing like the dudes thing and like you could tell, Lonergan. You could tell he was like he didn't want to give. I mean, to his credit though, I mean he definitely did give BC some he definitely did give BC a lot of I would say praise, like especially in those moments, whether it was Coach O'Brien or Lonergan. He definitely did a good job of, kind of giving them praise in the moments, but it was just like, man, you're right though. If Steve Adazio is critiquing your clock management, like we
have some issues.
you need a long look in the mirror because that's not good. Go ahead, Jack.
I was listening to the game on mute because I was in a bar. What was he talking about? The punt with 7 minutes left? What was he talking about?
It was no, it was what I'm trying to think.
Was it the drive going to halftime when they got a field goal?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, because that was a horrible.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I'm trying to remember
sitting on a timeout. By the way, they're driving. They should have been able to put a touchdown. They ran out of time. They had to field goal with like a third down. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and then they took way too long on that pass to the end zone, and then there was only 2 seconds left, so that ended up being their only play before before they had to kick a field goal.
No, that was bad clock management.
That's what it was. I blanked on a lot of it. Once they
kind of blocked that out. Yeah.
Once it was like 20-17, and I was like, dude, it was like moments away from being 24-6 and an absolute ass kicking. Now we're looking at 20-20 at the half. Like, are you effing kidding me?
I remember texting you, Brett. I was like, we're in shock which we shouldn't do because we've seen this before. But
yeah,
it was super telling. Obviously, BC football, the second half, they didn't even get a single point on the board because the offense just imploded.
I know.
But coming right out of the half, you're like, okay, you know what? That was, turnovers happen, whatever.
Yeah.
3-and-out, right out of the half. 3-and-out, and then they're unable to have a single drive at the end. So, yeah.
They went in the second half. The second half, they went 5 plays and punt. Then they went 3-and-out. 10 plays and a fumble. That was great. All the way down to the 1 fumble. Then they went 3 and out, and then 6 plays, and they punted, and then never. They punted with 7 minutes left and just never got the ball back.
That was that was just Bill O'Brien quitting the game. Like, that was just so pathetic, I thought. Like, you're down 2 scores with 7 minutes left. And what was it like 4th and like 7 or 4th and 6? Like,
double.
Do you really like? Is it? If you, I don't know if anyone asked him about a post game, but what was he gonna say? Like, oh, I trust our defense because our defense is doing so well.
I have the quote. I have the quote, and he basically did what he basically yelled at whoever asked it the same way he yelled at AJ last year. I'll pull it up right now.
I think Graham asked that question, and then he basically said, "Yeah, just write that I was wrong, and that I shouldn't have gone for it." He basically yelled that. Yeah,
and it's like, dude, what do you
like?
What do you?
Is it like his whole thing now that he's gonna have like 15 minutes of good football, like the second quarter today, the second quarter, State, and then just like lay a fucking egg the rest of the game?
Show the potential and show what they can be, but then for like the other 35 minutes of the game, just enable to even get close.
So first of all, it was Tom Carroll of VEI. So sorry for wrongly attributing the question. I asked Bill O'Brien if he thought about going for it on 4th and 6 from their own 40 with 7:36 to go, down 10. Bill O'Brien said it wasn't a decision that I think was conducive to going for it at that point in time. Like, really, bud? I felt like we could get the ball back, which I was wrong. Yeah, you were wrong. So you can write that I was wrong and I should have gone for it. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna.
Because you were like, you fucking baby. The last 2 possessions, they went 2 plays 80 yards because that was after the fumble and the 1, and then the next drive, Stanford went like 8 plays 50 yards for a field goal. Like, you really thought your defense was gonna come up with like a big 3-and-out stop, get the ball back, and do that twice?
No sense.
Like,
no. You're down 2 scores. You gotta go for it. That's ridiculous. And also it's double pathetic because you end up punting, and then the defense for 7 minutes just gets tumbled over.
So wait, hold up. Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
Just answer yes or no, because I'm gonna cook something here. When BC fumbled the ball at the 1, it was 20-20.
Yeah, they were about to go up 27-0 or 27-20. My bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. So then, off that, Stanford went 80 yards in two plays.
Yeah,
2 plays, 80 yards.
Tight end or whatever had the huge play.
14-point swing right there.
So they flipped it, right? Yep. 14-point swing, correct. Then we get the ball. We go 3 and out. Now, mind you, we go -9 yards, so that's cool. Then they get a field goal. So instead of being up, so it's a 17-point swing.
Yeah.
And that was the fumble happened right with 2.5 minutes left in the third.
Mm-hmm.
BC got the ball 1 time in the fourth quarter.
They're unable to stop the run, which is one of the biggest concerns going to the season.
So
Stanford's running back went like 17 carries for 160 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, he's only had 1 other game above 100 yards rushing.
You always knew Stanford could run the ball, so why you're punting the ball to a efficient running attack?
But this doesn't make sense. This makes no sense to me because they fumbled it. So they fumbled it with 2 minutes left. Stanford got the quick touchdown, like a minute. So BC got the ball. BC got the ball back in the third, and then wow. So Stanford started with the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter, had a drive for only 3.5 minutes for their field goal. So there was like 12-ish minutes left. BC has the ball with 11.5 minutes.
Yeah.
They have it for almost 347, and so yeah, they only had the ball one. So Stanford got the ball at the beginning of the fourth quarter, got a field goal out of
They had
it,
the ball 11 out of 15 minutes in the fourth quarter,
and then stopped BC.
And you knew going into this that was Frank Wright's game plan. Jack last week called it out that he was going to run the ball and shorten the game.
Yeah, they wanted to control
exactly.
their path to winning.
Yeah,
was controlling possession, controlling clock.
God damn you, Jack. God damn you, Jack.
That's exactly what they did. Bill should have known that, and they had very little possessions to score the ball. And then he punts the ball with down 2 scores. So it's an insane thing to be talking about, to be honest.
This game is a mess, first of all.
Coaching was the worst coaching we've seen under Bill O'Brien. This is the worst game they had. And it starts with him.
Yeah.
That was just
it was brutal. And I want to know, all right, I get the second quarter didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you scored 20 points you scored 4 possessions. You had a chance for a 5th, but you had the botched fumble in the botched snap in the red zone. That's obviously things didn't go your way towards the end, but that's offensively a pretty good quarter of football. Sure. What did he say at halftime that made them go punt, long drive and fumble, punt? 4 of their 5 possessions were punts in the second half.
The offense was cooking, to be honest.
What stalled after halftime?
Yeah. I know.
You'll say this, that the halftime adjustments by Frank Wright were great, and by Bill, he made no adjustments, to be honest.
He made no adjustments, and defensively, they didn't make any, because Stanford was still running the ball fairly positively in the first half as well, and the defense didn't stop them at all.
No.
Either half. Even in the second half when they came back out, it was just I'm sure Frank Wright was thinking all right, we're going to have to kind of address this and get away from this and make some adjustments, because they're going to make adjustments to us. And he's probably like, holy shit, they're not making any adjustments. So I guess we're just going to keep doing what's been successful this whole entire time.
Right.
What did they have to do differently in the second half?
I feel like this is a good time of part of the show for you to bring up the one guy that had a great game, which was Reed Harris. Mm-hmm. He post-game had a quote that everyone's talking about right now. And I think for me, this was one of the biggest takeaways from this game, was that they gave up, especially in the second half.
Do you want me to find the quote?
Yeah, if you could shout out, either read the quote or pull it up, that'd be great.
All right. Yeah. Keep going, and I'll
I just think for me it represents just where the team was at. Again, the body language, you could see that through the TV screen. Turbo Richard had that horrible fumble in the end zone, that touchback, but his head was down. There was a clip of him with his hands in his head, down on the sideline, sitting on the bench. This is the type of stuff that it's you're not a winning team, and you're a losing. Yeah, it's a loser mentality. It's your head's down. You're not refocusing. It's they went into this game thinking, oh, Stanford's going to be a cakewalk, and when time came for them to start focus and get into the game, it was too late. And then they gave up. To be honest, they were faced with adversity on the road, and they pretty much just gave up. And they have everyone has, again, 2 weeks to look in the mirror and really think about how much they want to be here, which is what Bill talked about in the post game as well. It's
okay, so
you got the quote.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So Trevor Haas asked the question. He asked Reed why he thinks BC struggles on the road. Reed Harris has been quoted as saying, "Before we get on the plane, Coach always tells us it's a business trip. Everybody has to keep their mind in the right space. Looking back at these last 24 hours, I think it's noticeable that some guys weren't as locked in as they needed to be. That translates to the game."
Yeah. I'm glad he called out the team. Obviously he didn't call out anyone personally, but
yeah, it's I love it, but I
in a way though, it's you're a true sophomore, you're a starter, you're a leader on the team. there has to be some leadership because they're
Oh
clearly
no,
not lacking
100%. It's
Yeah.
I don't love it because I don't love that he had to say it, I guess is what I'm
Right.
getting at.
Yeah, because it's a
Yeah,
reflection
like-
of where they're at. They're
Yeah.
not at a good
I don't
place.
have a problem with it
Yeah.
at all. I'm glad he said it,
Right.
and I think it needed to be said. I just am a little upset that it had to be said.
That should have been said. That should never should be had to said. Like the fact that they weren't prepared to go on the road after just losing a heartbreaker on the road last week. The fact that they shouldn't even, nothing has to be said. This is your rebound. This is your get right game. All the things that we're talking about leading up to this game. This was your chance to redeem yourself, and then instead you totally fall flat. You're totally unfocused. Your body language is bad on the sidelines. There's a lack of leadership. The coaching's horrible. It's like from top down, it's like they went into this just thinking they can wing it. And it's like so opposite of what you thought with a Bill O'Brien bringing a professional NFL look into this program, getting them to get to a certain level. It was like a very disheartening to see because it was everything opposite of that. It was just a lack of composure, a lack of execution, a lack of just willpower, to be honest. They just stopped. They gave up at a certain point, and you could feel it through even the TV screen. And for fans that stayed up, it just sucks.
I think they absolutely 100% gave up after the fumble. In my opinion, I think the fumble is like that's where it fell apart for them. Like we just kind of, or I just kind of spelled it out. Like they fumble. First of all, they had yet another. I mean, that happened multiple times. They had another massive breakdown that allowed for that huge, run after the catch for the touchdown. And then they weren't able to stop them on a second series, and they got a field goal. So, and like offensively, they were just cooked. Defensively, they couldn't stop them. They could not, even with 7 minutes left, they could not stop them and get the ball back. Like that says everything to me. Defensively, they gave up. Offensively,
that's what the thing is, though. That's what that quote reflects. Though it's not the fact that you turned over the ball. You're going to have these crazy games where you turn the ball over a lot. But do you give up after that, or do you actually play ball?
And that's
different.
And that's what I thought with Bill O'Brien, where it was different. Like I thought that DNA, that soft mental minded, like DNA was like gone with him. Like I didn't think this team was going to have that quick. How many times last year were they? I mean, they did blow a lot of leads last year, so maybe that's not a good example. But how many times were they really like blown out themselves, or did they quit? Like they fought a lot. They played in mostly all close games last year, including the ones where they were up 20-0 at home against Louisville and lost, and 14-0 against UVA and lost. But they played, like, there was not a game that they were blown out of last year.
That's what makes this game different, though, is because Bill even mentioned this after the game. They've never been blown out, but this felt like a blowout because of how they reacted. Once they went down, it wasn't like they were fighting and they were not punting the ball from the top down. They gave up and they weren't into it and they didn't fight. It's like when they go down, it's ridiculous. So it's so different. If you want to hope it's an outlier, but based on the effort, you're just like, what is there more issues we're not seeing? Like, is there, especially with the Reed Harris quote, like internally with the players, it's like, is there something that we're not seeing? Because from someone that covers the team on a daily basis, that's at the practices, like this, like felt, how positive I was going into the season. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling so wrong and untrusting of my own evaluation because it doesn't make any sense. Like the way they conduct themselves and how professional and on time and everything they've been, and these are really, really great and nice players, but on the field that night was just the polar opposite of everything we've kind of even seen from the last year and a half too. So, I'll end this on some of the positive takes at the end, but like it's very little, anything to put your 2 feet on the ground with right now. It's a brutal situation, I think.
Yeah.
Are there any positive takes? Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I forget who the guy who posted those graphs on Twitter. It's like, how badly do we get beat? And I forget what the metric is. It's like, it might be like EPA per play or something. But 2 weeks in a row now, BC has like clearly been the better team and outperformed their opponent, and they've lost. And it's like, those are the kind of things that you think a better coach, like, they wouldn't find themselves in that situation. Like, imagine if Jeff Halfley lost that game the way that they did. Like, he would have gotten torn, rightfully so. He would have gotten torn apart. I'm not saying Bill's not. Like, Bill's definitely getting it online. But
that's a great point.
Just like I guess it kind of felt like this after the UVA game and after the Louisville game. But like, I'm not saying Bill's gotten a free pass from the fan base or from like us, but because he definitely commands a certain respect with his pedigree. But yeah, I mean, the honeymoon, the era of good feelings with Bill O'Brien, it feels like they died with this game.
That's a great point, Jack.
They absolutely did, and it's like it's that whole blind faith. You're right.
Yeah, you're
right. You're on 100%.
We say over the summer, like, hey, like the talent is what the talent is, but I trust like a Bill O'Brien coach team is like they're gonna have a good passing game, they're gonna be disciplined, they're gonna be this and that, and that there's none of those things. I mean, they were a good pass team for 12 minutes in the second quarter, but they were none of those things on Saturday.
You're spot on with that, though. Like, the good feelings.
Saturday night,
it's over.
The benefit of the doubt with Bill O'Brien, we've been giving him the benefit of the doubt. That died Saturday night. Like, he's got to earn that trust back now.
Got to earn it.
He's got to earn it. He's got to, you got to do what you preach, right? And I think right now that's where we're at. I think for the program, it's just, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough right now to think of where your earlier point, Jack, I just want to say one thing. Like, for BC football, the brand always was, especially when you look back at the glory days, Brett, or if you want to call them glory days of like Tom O'Brien and all those great teams under Matty Ice and all the things. There was always a lack of talent at BC, but they played up to their opponent. They're able to go on these 9-10 wins because they played up. It's almost even more frustrating now because you went into the season being like all these different groups and the talent Bill O'Brien's bringing in and all these things. And it's like when you have this really great quarterback and you show you what they can do. They showed you in the first half what they could be. So for them to fall flat and to not show up just makes it all the more frustrating when you actually have the talent there to perform and execute at that level. So, there you go.
10 straight winning seasons, 9 of them of 8 or more wins, 8 straight bowl wins, 7 seasons they were in the top 25, and 5 of those seasons they ended the season in the top 25.
This is what I'm talking about. This is when they played up, that the coaching, and this was, again, Tom O'Brien, incredible coach, had New England players, didn't have these 4 or 5 stars, never had these top recruits, was able to coach up and develop. And now when you thought, okay, you're going to the season thinking you've got a really good secondary, really good safeties, you got really good wide receivers, you've clearly got a quarterback, there's a lot of upside. It's all possible in there, but with the lack of focus for the players, lack of execution, bad coaching, it just makes it so much more frustrating. Because it's not like you're going against, like, it's possible to pull, like, you should have won that game. I mean, we're clearly more talented than Stanford. So that's why it makes it so all the more frustrating, these type of losses.
It does, because I thought we were beyond that. I thought we were beyond this BS and this, like, mediocrity and nonsense, and I thought we were going to get back to this graphic. Like, I thought this is – and we still can be. Like, I don't think that it's like, I don't think that suddenly the Bill O'Brien era is tarnished and it's no good and we're heading for nothing but sorrow and pain. We can still get here. I thought it was closer than it is. I don't think we're there. I don't think I'm 8. Like I've said this like 3 times in the show already. 8 wins isn't. You go 8-5 in a season. That's not that great a season. That's a good season. It's a good season. 8-5.
That's like what the 9th team in the SEC or the Big Ten does.
Yeah. We're not even close to that right now.
Against like a much worse schedule. Like,
yeah. That's not a bad season. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
This team, this era or this head coach, this was like his benchmark. Going 8-5.
Oh man.
9-4 was like, I remember there was a season where BC went 9-4 and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
They underperformed.
I remember that, dude. This was the golden era, man, that we talked about.
Yeah.
Like, and I think for just exactly what we're talking about, like Bill O'Brien just, you're going into this and you're thinking, okay, maybe this isn't the end of the world. But you're hoping that, I think going into the season, Brett, we both agreed, hopefully this might be the season, right? And I think we're just too early. I know Jack went into the season thinking a lot more realistically 6-6. Now that might be, the goal now, but it's like,
I think we got to start listening to Jack more.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing is that we're now looking at this being like, to get back to this golden era that we have up on the screen, this is going to be at least year 3, maybe year 4, and that's a very different feeling, because that takes a lot of patience. That takes, to tell a BC fan, be more patient after we haven't won 8 games since 2009. That's a hard pill to swallow.
It's also hard to be patient when you can just pay your players now. You got to be like, that's kind of like worrisome.
I mean, you see Vanderbilt's, they're ranked 20th right now. Like, they've historically been
awful,
kind of the runt of the SEC.
Yeah.
The way that, post golden era BC has kind of been that in the ACC. Vandy's clearly, their administration, they're willing to invest in their program the way that clearly our administration is not. And so like to your point, like you don't always have to be super patient and wait over the span of 4 years where you're like, hey, wait till we get our guys. You get your guys in the portal in a 6-month offseason.
Go get your guys.
Yeah.
Go give them money. It's like I'll say this, like the money doesn't solve the problem, but it makes the solution possible. And right now, I don't know if Bill has that money. Again, I don't know. Private university, we don't even know how much he's getting paid, to be frank. But like, I know BC isn't maxing out at 20.5. I know whether my sources and where BC's at, we're not maxed out at 20.5. That's where all these Power 4 schools are at. They're maxing out. They're giving $14-15 million to their football programs. BC is significantly far away from that. That's one thing. And then with NIL, we don't have that as well. So I think for me, that's the thing that makes this possible. The thing that you just brought up, Brett, like instead of being patient, can you get your guys in? Because if this is a situation where Bill's like, hey, I just don't have my guys yet, how do we get him his guys? Because I don't think we can keep doing this every 4 years. Okay, give him 3-4 years, develop, do all this stuff, and then we find out that that's not the right guy. I think we're just
because at this point it's like an arms race, right? Yeah. It's like who can load up on talent the most. And Jack hit the nail on the head with like a Vanderbilt comp. Didn't Vanderbilt just had a huge win this past weekend, didn't they?
They crushed South Carolina. I think South Carolina lost their sellers. But yeah, they crushed them. It wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and look at Syracuse last year. Like, I mean, Fran Brown didn't have his guys last year, and Fran Brown won 10 games.
Yeah.
There's lots of other Duke lost their head coach in their quarterback, and they're better.
Brett and Jack, we've reached the part of the podcast where I thought that after ranting I'd feel better, and to be honest, I feel probably worse about this at least for this season. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but like,
Yeah.
you know how like at the very big picture, I try to bring the city of Boston in. I try to bring the whole context of college football into the lens of how I'm looking at Boston College. And the more context I give it and the more I think about it, it looks more bleak because I don't see evidence of the things I'm talking about. I don't see the marketing to the Boston fan. I don't see getting money, to bring in, 4 or 5 stars. I don't see them trying to get to a level where they have to nationally compete and not be left behind. And when you lose to Stanford, to a team like that, where it's like, again, just more evidence to the contrary of where they need to be as far as this. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, especially when they were in the national spotlight last week. And then I'm sure that there were people that were interested in how maybe they weren't going to stay up for the Stanford game, right? But I'm sure they were interested in learning a little bit more about what went down.
Yeah.
So wake up in the morning and see that they just kind of got the crap kicked out of them at 1:30 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning. And they're probably just like, thank God I didn't watch that. I guess they're really not that good. We're like, after Michigan State, it was probably a little bit of kind of like, this team's got something here. Yeah, they lost, but that was exciting. They got a really good quarterback. This could be a team to follow. And then you look at the Stanford game, and it's kind of just like, nothing's changed. This is the same school that has been getting clowned on for the last 10 years and doesn't deserve my attention. I hope people from Boston aren't starting to pay attention right now. God bless. God bless if they are, but like,
thank God the Sox are it's almost playoff time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep BC as far away from the lens because they got a lot of cooking to do, and there is not a lot of reason to be excited at the moment. And it always sucks too when you go into a bye week on a loss because it feels like such a double loss because not only do you have to wait 2 weeks to redeem yourself, but it's also like, it's nice to go in on a win and then you get that added rest for when you come back and finally play. But now it's like you go into the bye week licking your wounds, trying to figure it out. Maybe you will, maybe they won't. Cal's going to be I mean, we'll talk about it next week. Cal ain't bad.
Dude,
you got a nice young quarterback, talented quarterback.
Is he a 5-star? Did someone say that?
That's the 5-star
Someone
that
said
we're
that,
talking
yeah.
about. That I can tell you, Cal always finds these 4 or 5-star quarterbacks, and they always have good wide receivers.
How do they get 5-star quarterbacks?
Watch out.
Money.
Out, man.
Yeah. But they just beat Minnesota. They're not bad.
No.
So like for everyone,
Minnesota's probably comparable to Michigan State, right? Like within the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Probably maybe a little worse. I don't really know, but
I don't really know. But that's a P4 team, and
they might even be more talented than Michigan State. So,
and the other thing we gotta take into consideration too is that game just got moved to 3:30 p.m. So that's like a noontime kick for them. So they're not playing like when it was a noontime game in their world, that's like a 9 a.m. start.
They'll be ready. They'll be fine.
Their bodies, but now it's a noontime start for them because it's a 3:30 kick Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
It's a good.
I have my whiteboard here. I'm trying to find a way to a bowl game. I'm having a real tough time doing. I try to map it out the best I could.
This is what we're gonna wrap up on. So
What
do you got so
it's
far?
an uphill battle.
Oh, God.
The best I can find is we got last 9 games on the schedule. We got Cal, Pitt, Clemson, UConn, Louisville, Notre Dame, SMU, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. So the way I got to 6 games is Cal and Pitt, you win. Clemson, you lose. UConn, you win. Lose Louisville, lose Notre Dame, beat SMU, lose to Georgia Tech, beat Syracuse.
That is the path to 6 to bowling.
The path to a bowl, yeah.
That's
that doesn't seem particularly likely at all.
That's where we're at. The path is just to get to a bowl, and that probably is the most likely, and that is going to be tough.
Pitt, and Syracuse. That's very loft. Oh wow, that's very loft. I don't know. That's very lofty. Here we go. We're going to a bowl.
6 and 6.
Yeah, Pitt and Syracuse are not. That's kind of like wishful thinking there. And same with SMU.
Oh
so,
my God.
So what? 3 out of those 5 games are like probably less than 50% probability.
Pitt probably is. SMU probably is. At this point, Syracuse probably is. Yeah.
Pitt's good. Pitt's pretty good.
They just lost. Didn't they lose the
backyard brawl?
And that was a good. That was a good brawl. That was a good one.
But they're good.
Prior. Well, this is what sucks. Because prior to the game, we had all day to watch the other ACC teams play. We saw Clemson
lose,
falter. We saw
Notre Dame lose. Pitt, I thought I don't think West Virginia is very good. I think they lost to Ohio. So seeing Pitt go to overtime with them, I was like, oh, they're not that good. And of course, Clemson struggled against UConn Syracuse struggled against UConn last week. So you're thinking to yourself hey, this ACC is looking wide open. And you see your first 3 games are Stanford, Cal, Pitt. And you're like, if you start 3-0, we're cooking. And then of course you just lay an egg. You just shit down
absolute egg. Absolute egg. Yeah.
The way my thinking changed about the season from 3 o'clock to midnight. It's just it's crazy, but it's tough.
The floor is I know we talked about how beginning of the season the ceiling was it was pretty high, but the floor was also very low if something goes wrong. Well, the thing that Saturday was the thing that went wrong, and that floor is low now. And you're going to have to fix a lot of things just to get to that 6 and 6 you're talking about, Jack.
Yeah, I mean they could easily lose to both Cal and Pitt, and be 1-4 going to Clemson at this point. It's tough. It's looking bleak. Wow. I hate to end the pod on such a. Mac, do you have any positives you want to go over from the game? I mean,
oh yeah, I did mention that. I know I almost talked myself out of it. Positives because it does look weak. But so I asked Coach, after the game in the press conference, he mentioned he's well aware of this. I think is the most positive thing. He's well aware, I think, of what we all just talked about for an hour. And in the offseason, he said, this team needs to learn how to not lose before they learn how to win. That was I quoted him in my question to him post-game. And, he went to go on and talk about that, but and reiterate exactly what he said and what I said. But that's the truth. This team, this program has been losing games. We just had that list. You saw what Brett brought up. All that list is evidence of them still not learning how to not lose games. I think you got to dedicate this season to that. I think you got to even if you don't go to a bowl game, even if you miss a bowl game, you got to get these guys that you brought in, that Bill O'Brien's guys got brought in to figure out not to lose a game. Turbo, he's such a talented running back. You've seen that. He had a great touchdown that game, but then he fumbles the ball. He has to learn to not lose. He has to learn to do the things that matter. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you can't hold on to the ball. That's where this program's at. So I think as a positive thing, Bill O'Brien understands that, and I think that's where, as far as developing this program, that's where we're at. And I hope that they take these next 2 weeks to really think about that. It's that we have to learn how to not make these bonehead mistakes. We have to learn how to not lose before we start talking about 8 wins. Because to be honest, that's not even on the table because they haven't learned how to not lose yet. That doesn't seem that positive. I know you guys are looking for something, but I think the most positive takeaway is that these are college kids. You have horrible games like 3 turnovers. The biggest thing is that they didn't react well from it, but got to take the 2 weeks and go from there. And I think for Bill, this is only his second year. We're only 3 weeks into it. He needs more time to bring his players in and develop, because clearly that message of not, learning how to not lose and taking care of the football and all these things that he talks about hasn't reached their mind and their mentality and on the field yet. So hopefully they can use the rest of these 2 weeks, the bye week especially, and kind of build some momentum on that, because that's where we're at.
Love it. That's my final thought. What Max said is my final thought.
I agree.
Yeah.
Only positive. Luca Lombardo had a 51-yard field goal, which I thought was great.
He did. What do you have? 2 field goals?
It's 51 and 31, I think.
Yeah.
So he's had a good year.
Of course, we have the best field goal in a decade on the game that just didn't matter at all, and of course. And,
of course, it's BC. Yeah.
I will say this, Brett. Well, one last positive that actually was positive. Your boy Reed Harris, over 140 yards catching, and
awesome.
That was
awesome
good.
From Reed.
That was very good.
And showed some good leadership after the game, even though it's a bad reflection, but a necessary showing of leadership as far as where we're at.
Agreed.
All right. Episode 36. The monstrosity episode. The Brian Flores episode in the books. Make sure to follow us across all platforms as always. Make sure to check out eags.shop for all your merchandise. We do have a home game in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now. So get your merch, show up. We'll be back next week to preview Cal and just kind of, I don't know. But we're burning the tape on this one, the proverbial burning of the tape. This game's done.
Yeah,
we're not gonna rehash it next week, but we will be back to talk Cal, talk some outlooks on the season. And we'll just kind of go from there. But yeah, from me to you, thank you for tuning in, and go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
Go Eagles.